First of all, nice haircut, Scott. Good to see you. I'm curious, now that you're seeing the players, how do they look? Obviously, it was a lot of time off. You said guys are in shape, but could you please elaborate on that?
Well, this doesn't surprise me that you're the first question, first of all, right? No, you know what? It's give our guys a lot of credit. Our staff and our guys during this stoppage of play really did a great job. We usually get about 3 or 4 days a week with workouts with Coach Blair, strength and conditioning coach, and the staff. Our assistant coaches done some ball handling 2 or 3 times a week. We usually did a yoga session once a week, so they were in pretty good shape coming in. But as we all know, there's only so much you can do to get yourself at a good level, but you need to be, in NBA game shape. So, but like I said, most of the guys are here. They don't have to all be here until, the next couple of days. But yeah, I think they're in pretty good shape. It's a pretty good base going in the next week or so, going down to Orlando for 3 weeks before we start our first game.
Chris Miller.
Thanks, Scott.
Hey, Chris.
Scotty, how you doing, man? What goes into the decision to bring the 35 people down to the bubble? I know the players obviously are the priority, but in terms of your staff and medical and what goes into that decision?
Yeah, I mean that's always tough because they're all so important, and they all help me and I help our players in so many different ways. But we had to have a number. The NBA gave us a cap, and so we had to figure that out with the players, and then so many medical and coaching and bench coaches, and so we had to figure it out. What I just tried to do, what guys can do the majority of their job remotely. And when I felt that they could do a lot of their job remotely, I gave them, the opportunity to do that. And the guys were great. And one thing I do have working alongside with me, a lot of team players, and they understand that the decision wasn't tough. It wasn't that I don't think their job is important, but they knew that I had to make decisions, and Tommy and we felt that we had to do the best decision for the team, and that's how we came up with that. But a lot of our guys, all of our guys that are not down in Orlando, will be doing a lot of work, and you're just not going to be there physically, but you're going to be there in Zoom calls and meetings, and we're going to be connected with them quite a bit. So in that aspect, they're very much a part of the team.
Scotty, just as a follow-up, were there any coaches on your staff that came to you and said they would prefer to opt out of going down there but do their job remotely, as you said?
No, you know what? I gave every coach out of respect. This is new. I mean, this has never happened before. I mean, this is a worldwide pandemic, and, now the league has started up, and they're going to put us in one of the safest places probably in the world. And so I gave all the coaches, and out of respect to them and how they all the hard work that they've given to the organization and with their families, and all of them said, hey, if I can go, I want to go. I want to be around the guys. They love this group of guys. This group of guys is fun to be around. You never know what you're going to get on certain days, but they're going to give you great effort. And so all the coaches wanted to go down there. I did not have one coach that volunteered that they did not want to go. I had to make the tough decision. I was, on the easy part for me would have been, 7 or 8, 9 guys would have said, coach, I don't feel comfortable going down there. But no, we had all of our coaches wanted to go, and our medical staff as well.
Troy.
How you doing, Coach Brooks? Thanks for doing this and the transparency that it provides. I wanted to ask you a question about, can you give us some insight into your experience 2 weeks ago when you all went out, when you joined hands with your players on that march from Capital One Arena to the Martin Luther King Memorial, and why it's so important for the organization to get behind the players as they find their voice in activism? And also, as a former player, what kind of conversations did you have with the players about I don't know, the whole conversation surrounding will rejoin it in Orlando. Would that take away from the voice and the movement that guys are trying to spur up?
Well, if I can remember all three of those questions, I will try to do my best. Well, first of all, it's very important. We, as players, as coaching staff, as an organization, we want to be a part of the change that is going to take place. And our players have done a great job of doing that. That march last week, or a little longer than that, was one of my favorite moments, being a Wizards coach. With Natasha and Brad, they started it off, front of on the steps of the Capital One Arena, and very, very, very direct, honest words, and very important words. And then we all stood behind that and marched to the Martin Luther King Memorial. And it's something that I believe in. It's something that our team, our organization is behind. It's a great opportunity for all of us to be a part of this. We need change. And I've been a player for a long time in the league, and now a coach in the league. And I understand one thing, that once you stop playing, it's the hard, cold facts that people don't answer your phone calls. You don't get the voice that you did as a player. That's speaking from experience from me. But I know with the platform that we will have as coaches and as players, as an organization down in Orlando, with people are starved for watching live sports, and we all know everybody loves the NBA, but the platform the players and coaches and staff and organizations will have down there is going to be a huge opportunity for all of us. And one of the things I'm proud of being in the NBA and with the Wizards, that we're gonna use that platform, and we're gonna try each and every day to be better and make decisions based on how we can help change in this country, because we all want to be part of that. I don't know if that answers all your questions, Troy, but I tried my best.
Yeah, that was perfect. But to just quick follow, what kind of conversations did you have with Brad and some of the other players about the overall conversation about some of the players around the league felt like it may be a distraction to get back, and it seems as to me that the Wizards are kind of leading with the forefront of doing both, that you can march and train to go to Orlando at the same time.
Yeah, like I said, I played since in the late 80s. I've had discussions with teammates, Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Jason Kidd, the list goes on and on and on, about race relations since I was a player, and we're still having it now. And we all need to take ownership and continue to help be a part of this change. And I've had conversations with all of our guys, and Brad and John are great examples. And it's really, to me, what's really been pretty cool in my relationships with those two guys the last 4 years, we have something in common. We're all three of us are fathers, and we feel that there's important opportunity for all of us to be. We are role models to our kids, and we talk about that. And I'm proud of them, how they interact with their kids, and a big part of their kids. They bring them to our locker room. Some of our best days and some of our best moments after games, when we have all the kids in their locker room or at the practice court. So, but it's like I said, the platform is going to be huge down there, and the Wizards, Ted has given us an opportunity, and we're blessed. We're one of 22 teams get to play basketball, and I have a lot of people that will love to sign up for that job. It's almost like, I look at it as, some of my favorite moments as a kid was going away for basketball camp, and that's what we're doing. We're get to go away for basketball camp, and we're going to have a great platform to help create change and charge forward to all the social injustices that's going around there, the police brutality that we need to clean up. And we're all looking forward to helping and being a part of that change as a league, as an organization, as a team.
That definitely answers all my questions. Thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Troy. Good talking to you.
Candace.
Hey there, Scott Brooks. Good to see you.
Hey, Candace. How you doing?
I'm fantastic now. I'm wondering about the Wizards' plans, because Tommy was pretty clear on how it's important to use Orlando to evaluate and develop players, but also you guys want to compete. You want to make the playoffs. That may seem to be a little bit conflicting. So how does a team compete for that playoff spot while still trying to develop someone like Admiral, who spent a lot of time in the G League?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's about. It's about developing and competing every day like we've done this past season. Like I said, this last summer, when Tommy got the job, we made a lot of different changes going forward. And we've had long conversations, and we've always been aligned with one another, is that guys deserve to get on the court, or the guys that deserve to get on the court. We're not giving anybody just because that you're a young draft pick. When Rui came in, he wasn't guaranteed to start. He wasn't guaranteed to play a lot of minutes, but he was, we were going to test the waters and see how much he can pick up, but he earned those opportunities. The same thing with Troy. Admiral, there wasn't a lot of opportunities for him, but in the G League, which we value extremely high, that there was opportunities there. The list goes down. Bonga, Mo, TB, and we have a lot of young guys, but they've earned a lot of the minutes. We're going down there. We want to make the playoffs. It would be a great opportunity. There's no question. It would be a great opportunity to get involved in that play-in game and have the pressure of having to, win this next possession. And we want to go down there. Like I said, we're excited. I mean, I talked to all of our guys. Our guys they're ready to go down there. We're gonna be treated very well. The NBA. We had a big conversation yesterday with some teams and with the NBA, and I'm very impressed of all the work, and I'm thankful for all the work that they have done. They've done a great job to create an environment that's going to be player and coach friendly. The experience is going to be great, and hopefully this is going to be a once in a lifetime opportunity. We're one of 22 teams, and if you don't play, you're going to be in for a long time without NBA games if the season doesn't start later on like it will be. But we're looking forward to competing and giving ourselves a chance to make the playoffs. I mean, there's no guarantees, but we're going to play. We're going to develop a lot like our guys along the way, but we're going to keep that competitive spirit that we played with all year. That was a long question.
Scott
Abraham. Yes?
Scott Abraham, go ahead.
Brooks, Scott Abraham, ABC7. Good to see you.
Hey, Scott, how you doing?
Leading up to Orlando, you need to train and get ready. And, that's where the training camp comes in. So I guess my question to you, what is the primary focus as a coach and your coaching staff leading up to Orlando? Is it the fitness level? Is it the, working on offensive sets, defensive sets, ball work? What's kind of the primary focus with these weeks leading up to Orlando?
Well, fitness is obviously, like I said, all the workouts they've done is nothing like being on a basketball court. Stopping, starting, lateral, left, right, falling down, jumping up, jump shots, running back and down the court. We're doing everything one player only on the court at one time. So, and then gradually when we get down to Orlando, we're going to be able to go more, 5-on-5 and normal training camp practices. But fitness is going to be important. We're not going to push any players. And that's what we've been doing. Like I said, most of the players are here and they don't have to be here until the next few days. But we're going to be able to assess everybody on our performance team. Our sports scientist, Mark, has done a great job of putting us in position to making sure everybody is at the workloads that we want them going down into Orlando. But the players' health and safety is a priority, and we're going to always have that in mind. We're not going to push them so far that we're going to put them in a tough position. We're going to always be very cautious in our approach, be very thorough, comprehensive in our game plan, but we're excited. Like I said, our players, they want more. These guys are hoopers, man. They want to play. For the last 3 or 4 days, they're like, Coach, can we do more? Can we do more? And we're like, no, not yet. Right now, the leagues aren't allowing us to do that. But we're going to be able to get to that, once we get down to Orlando.
Fred?
Hey, Scott. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing good. How you doing, man? I'm
lovely. You guys have had you're going to have 4.5 months off before you play a game again, which is essentially a full off season. It's technically the same season, but considering how much time has been off and the shape guys could be in, you guys or any other team could potentially could look totally different. So how are you planning on going about planning for other teams, considering how different they could look? And are there any sort of beyond player improvement, institutional changes that you're looking to make to either the way you play defense or the way that you score, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, well, I mean, Fred, that's going to be, everybody's in the same boat. Not one player has played, an NBA game in the last, it's going to be, like you said, 4.5 months. So that's all going to be very fluid. We're thankful that we are be able to get down there through all the hard work that everybody has put in. But we definitely have some things to work on. This is not like an off season, but we've been working on things and preparing when we knew that this day will probably happen. We were hoping that it would happen. And when it did happen and that we were included, it was a big moment of a relief, that we get to be able to play more basketball, because we need it. We need reps. We need opportunities. Our players are hungry. They don't have a lot of NBA experience. And I've said it many times, I don't coach young players. I coach NBA players. I don't treat them as young players. I treat them as NBA players. And so we have to focus on getting better every day. And we don't just talk about that. We do it. And I think this is going to give us another opportunity to work on our game and work on our team concepts. And we know we got to get better defensively. I thought we were really doing a pretty good job the last 25, 30 games of this current season. But yeah, we still have a lot of work to do. We're going to throw some new things in there and see how we respond.
Wu from Japan, please.
Hi, Coach. I like your hairstyle. Actually, I'm from China.
Yes.
I miss all of you. And my question is that, hi, Coach, do you have some special memo to the players during the COVID-19 period? Because, for example, don't speak too much trash talk on other players' face, or some special memos.
No, the NBA, our organization, myself, our staff, we have everybody's safety and health at the forefront. And after talking to the NBA, you've read all the reports and all the memos throughout the last couple of weeks, but we had a great conversation. And I'm very impressed, and I'm thankful that the leadership of our NBA, what they've done, the time and work that they've done in Orlando, to me, is really incredible, because I don't know how they did it. But they were able to do it, and they're going to put us in a very, very safe environment. And the players and our coaches, we're going to have to be continue to practice social distancing, wearing our mask and gloves when necessary, and and try to stay away from much as we can. But there's going to be times we can't do that, and we understand that. We get tested quite a bit, and everything has been great. But yeah, like I said, our players are very. We're going to put them in a very good position. We're going down there knowing that we're in the bubble, and we have to stay. Minimum we're going to have to stay there for 6 weeks, and that's definitely challenging. It's challenging because we never had to do that. I mean, I never had to be away from my family. Our players never had to be away from their kids as well. So it's going to be. It's not going to, I'm not the first person that ever been away from their families, and our players are not going to be the first either. So we're all in this together. We're going to support each other. We're going to be in this together, and we're going to need to lean on one another. And that's what makes this group that I'm coaching very special to be around.
Neil.
Hey, Coach. Hope you and your family are well. I was wondering, for Brad in particular, how are his minutes going to be managed? Obviously, you guys want to be competitive, want to play hard. That's who he is. But will you guys be putting in a hard minutes restriction on him, or are you guys just going to let him go and just monitor him along the way?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to be very thoughtful, and not only Brad, with all of our guys. And Brad and I are some of our most intense moments from a player-coach relationship is really all about the minutes. He doesn't like to hear it. He thinks he can go. He thinks he can go the distance and play every game back to back. In his mind, he could play, back to back in the same day. So that's always up for discussion with Brad and I. But I've always look at Brad as, and all of our players, their careers are important, not only for them, for all of us. And I want to go back and make sure that our players understand that we care about them and their bodies and their health and their long-term success in this league. But that still remains to be seen. I love to play them, some good minutes. But conditioning, like I said, everybody's in pretty good shape. But you can't be in pretty good shape to compete in an NBA game. So we have some time before we go down to Orlando, and then we have 3 weeks with some exhibition games or friendly games, whatever you want to call them, before we start our real games.
Darren Haynes.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for having me. My question will be, when you're in Orlando and maybe someone catches the coronavirus, where's your stance on if you have one of your players that decides, hey, after maybe 2 games, decides they want to go home?
That's a good question. Those are obviously going to have to be a collaboration with everybody involved. And this is not, nobody is going to go down there and you're locked in. You have to stay there. And everybody has a choice. And that's what I love about this opportunity. Nobody's getting judged on the choice. And I've seen it, with the players. Some players are deciding not to go for, many reasons, for the Black Lives Matter or family concerns. The same thing if that happens. We're all going to be talking to one another, and it's always about the players. So if the players feel like they need to get, away from the bubble, we'll support that.
Zach Akuma.
Hey, Coach.
Zach, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm great. Great to see you at 1:35 a.m. Japan time, by the way.
Yes.
I'm going to ask
Ohio
about Rui.
gozaimasu.
Ohio gozaimasu. Yeah, very early Ohio gozaimasu. How much will you encourage Rui to attempt more threes in the 8 games? And is this something that has to happen organically, or can you nudge a young player to take that leap?
Well, I will say this. He knows that some of the things that we wanted him to work on after the season, and, this is not after the season, but we had a break, and he's had some time to be, some 1-on-0 opportunities. And his shot was, somewhat on the flat side, and the angle of entry gives you a very small percentage to make it consistently. So, but if you have a higher arc, which he's been working on, and it has improved. Now it's going to take some reps. It's going to take some time, and he's going to have to be able to shoot it with confidence in the games and be able to fight through some tough stretches where he doesn't make them. But he's going to have a coach that's going to support him. He's going to have a staff that's going to be encourage him to do it more, and because we need it. He's a really good mid-range shooter, but he has a good enough form with a little bit of adjustment. I think he could be a pretty good three-point shooter. But I like his improvement. I like his consistency this year. I like his work ethic. And like I said, not too many rookies come in, start right away. Not too many rookies come in and really stay consistent. He very rarely had a slump. He had one recently, but he was able to get out of it. And it's been pretty impressive to see his his consistent play throughout the season. But we're looking forward to getting back. He looks great now. Saw him yesterday, having a good workout here in our facility.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Karita?
Hi, Coach. Thank you. Coach, I wanted to circle back to what you were talking about earlier with the social justice. Yesterday, the NBA announced that they'd be painting Black Lives Matter on the court. Can you speak on your thoughts regarding that as far as how powerful that stance is and how to bring additional light to the issue, especially that being that it's important to not just the players for the Wizards, but across the league?
Well, it's extremely important. And it's the right thing to do. I'm all for it. Black Lives Matter is important. And I think our players, our staff, our organization, our ownership group, the NBA, the country, we want to see change. And we want to be part of it. And I know in my family, I know how important it is. And with my Wizard family, I know how important it is. And I know how important it is with the NBA family. And we have an opportunity. I see great momentum. I see the young kids. They are the fuel that we're going to need. And they see it and they get it. And I love it. I look forward to seeing it and every day when I wake up and see all the great things that are happening. And I live in one of the greatest magical cities in the world that we can make change, and I see it all the time. I walk the streets of DC and see the great movements that are taking place. But we get a platform, like I said earlier, and I have nothing bad to say that players want to stay back because they have that right and they can do great things. And not being in Orlando, but being in Orlando, you have a great platform. I mean, it is going to be incredible. And like I said, when you're done playing, these players don't realize it. Only a few of them that when you're done playing, people are still going to want to, let you get in front of them, and they're going to answer your phone calls. But you have that platform right now. Let's take advantage of it. Let's help create change, and let's not just have it during Orlando. Let's make it. Let's make it a everyday thing, and let's not stop until we see a lot of the change that needs to take place.
Just a quick follow-up. You said that it's a huge platform. Have you had specific conversations with the players or as a team about what you want to do to take advantage of that?
Yeah, we've had a lot of conversations individually and then on Zoom when this has all taken place, and I've talked to, on the March, talked to all the players then. Now we've seen them the last 10 days or so in our facility. Just about every week we're on a Zoom call with all 30 of the head coaches and a few other former head coaches with our association, and we have a lot of good things moving forward and it's important. Our players are very, I think they're focused and they're determined, and I think they understand that they can go down to Orlando. They can do, we're playing basketball. We're hooping for 2 hours. We have a lot of time in our hands, and we're going to have a lot of great conversations. We're going to have a lot of great, I'm assuming, like roundtable moments. And some teams are probably going to get together. The NBA is focused on this, and I think the platform that we have is going to be pretty powerful.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Matt?
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Scott, for doing this. Just curious, what are your thoughts on the play-in tournament? Just, guys, they'd be 4 games behind. They see in your 5.5 back. Do you think it's realistic that you guys force that play-in tournament, or how are you guys going about approaching that?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to do like we've done all season. We want to compete. We want our fans to be proud of us. We want to make sure that our players are doing the right things. I see a lot of great improvement. Troy Brown has improved a lot. And, he didn't play a lot, but pretty good minutes, and he got hurt his rookie year, later in the year. And then this past year, he had some good minutes. Tried to start him, but for some reason, he didn't play well as a starter, but he did well off the bench. So, Isak, Mo, TB, Rui, even Brad. Brad is, I mean, he just turned 27. He's improved a lot. I mean, this guy is an all-NBA player right in front of our eyes, and it's happened through the hard work that he has done. But we want to go down there and compete for that play-in opportunity. If we feel that we can get there, and we have a chance to win the 2 games once we get the play-in, and then maybe who knows? And then we get to the playoffs. But we have our work cut out. We're not going to look too far ahead from today, and that's how we've been all year. Let's get better today. We talk about it. We bring the group together, and we talk about that, and we mean that. Let's get better today, guys. And that's one of our things that we talk about, and we're going to have to do the same thing down there. We want to compete for one another and continue to build what we have done this all season long. And it's going to be pretty – I think if we do that, we're going to be happy with what we have. Worst case, we had an extra couple of months to get to be around our players and talk basketball and be around basketball, be around one another. We miss these guys, and our players, they miss each other. It's a brotherhood, and they haven't had physical contact with one another, and they miss it, and they love being around. The camaraderie we have with our group has been pretty cool to see.
And let's follow up. Like, do you conceptually like the play tournament? Like, do you think it should be in the future seasons, like the 7th and 8th seed battling the 9 and 10, or there's been some thoughts introducing.
That is something I have not thought about it until you just followed up with that question. But it's something to definitely consider. I think it's pretty interesting. It does definitely put another twist into the great 2 months of a playoff series that you have to win. To get to an NBA final championship, you got to win 2 months of basketball, 4 rounds. So that definitely something I'm sure the league is going to see how this turns out and see all the excitement that's going to be around it. There's definitely going to be around it. Obviously the West has, more guys, more teams fighting for that 8th spot.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Brianna?
Hey, Scott Brooks. Yesterday, Tommy Shepard told us about the call that you guys had last night a little bit. Could you give a little more clarity on anything that you guys have learned about the bubble or about the routine for sharing the courts and the weight room and stuff like that?
Well, it's actually brought back great memories. We were on the call for about an hour and a half or so. And like I said earlier, I'm so impressed with all the hard work that the NBA has done, because it's a daunting task to put this thing together and to talk to all the medical people, the Disney, the hotels, the buses, the food, the workout facilities, transportation, the facility. I mean, everything. It's just, to me, it's just overwhelming to think about it. But they've obviously have the organizational skills to be able to put that in place. So, but having that conversation last night, it just, like I said earlier, brought back great memories to me. It reminded me going off to basketball camp. One, I'm going to miss my mom and my family because I was going to be gone for 2 weeks. This is, I'm going to miss my family because I'm going to be gone for minimum 6 weeks. Our players are going to be in the same position, but we get to be around basketball. We're going to be, fed good meals, and we're going to be around the greatest athletes in the world and the greatest coaches in the world that we're going to be able to compete against. And a lot of people would sign up for that. And I don't take it for granted. This is a privilege to be in this league. I've been fortunate enough to be in it for 30 years. Like I say, it's a great opportunity. Nothing changes to me. We're just an extended road trip. But I feel like I'm a player. I can't wait to get down there. I can't wait to be around our guys. I'm excited. I'm sleepless nights right now, looking forward to it. I know we're going to be in a safe environment, and if we're not, obviously things are going to change, and we're going to have to make an adjustment. But right now, it's safe, and we're looking forward to it. And like I said, it reminds me of as I was a player, getting ready for training camp and starting the season off.
And we know that the players are getting tested every day. So our coaches, training staff, bubble staff, like all of them are getting tested as well on a daily basis?
Yeah, we've been tested constant. I think we're tested every other day now. But yeah, I've been tested, and everything is good, and all of our players have been tested, and we obviously keep everything in house. But everybody's been working hard, and being around our facility has done a great. Our staff here, just to get our facility up to speed. They've been working on it for months, and all the conversations we've had in Zoom calls. Kevin, our building manager, and Lacey, they've done a great job of putting us in a safe environment here at our practice site. But it's important for our players and our staff and everybody to stay safe and healthy. And we are like I said, we're in a great environment here, and we're going to go down to Orlando and be in another safe environment.
Kaz from Japan Times.
Hi, Coach. Speaking from Tokyo as well.
How you doing?
Good. Thank you. Another question on Rui. Mine is more general than Zach's, but I want to ask you about your expectation level for Rui. As you already addressed, it's been rough for anyone, but I would say it's even more so for a rookie like Rui. And you said, he's been great, he's been consistent. But for the remainder of the season, what would you say about your expectation level? Would that be even higher, or would that be the same?
Well, one of the things, there's so many things I love about Rui, and his his personality, his disposition. He's such a team guy. This is hard on every player. Let's get that out there. Starting the season, getting into the middle of the season, going through an All-Star break, and then having this, early March, and then being off for, the next time we will have a game is 4.5 months or so. So that's tough on every player, and every player is going to be able to react differently. And every player is going to come back in different shape, conditioning-wise. But with Rui, I love what I've seen. He's taken the time off serious, and he was on every Zoom call. If he was getting a report card on punctuality, he would get an A, like a lot of our players, if not all of our players. And we've been very lucky that way. We got some great leadership for these guys to be around. But we're going down there. Rui's going down there. I expect him to get better every day. And that's our mindset. We have a growth mindset. Incremental gains are important to us. And with Rui, we want him to improve his game, improve his defense, improve his rebounding, improve his ball handling, improve his decision-making. And we feel that he's good enough to be able to improve all areas of the game, not just one thing. But Rui, along with all of our young players, it's going to be a great opportunity for them.
Just a quick follow-up. Obviously, remainder of the season, the pressure is going to be bigger. And do you think Rui is going to be able to handle the pressure on his shoulder down the road?
Yeah, you know what? I always tell our players about pressure. I say we all have pressure. You can't run from it. You got to navigate. You got to play through it. But I always felt some of the great players I played on always taught me, you know what? The pressure is just playing hard. If you just play hard and you play for your teammates, there's no other. You can't worry about the results. You just got to enjoy it, play hard, play for your teammates, and live with the results. And with Rui and all of our players, that's the same mentality that we've had all year, and that's the same mentality that we're going to bring down to Orlando. But we want to make the playoffs. We're going to have pressure to make that playoffs because we're not in the driver's seat right now. There's teams that are ahead of us, and we have to make up some ground. We're going to have to play well. We're going to have to get some luck that players or teams don't do as well that's ahead of us. But it's a great challenge. It's a great experience for our group of guys that go down there to fill that environment. And it's going to be very unique. And we're not playing in front of any fans. I don't know how that's going to be. I don't know how that's going to do well. I don't know how the players are going to respond. But I do know one thing about NBA players. They can adapt, and they do well in just about any environment. But this is definitely going to be new. Nobody's ever done this before, and hopefully going forward we don't have to do it again.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Soda Nagasawa.
Hello, Coach. Thank you for your time. I'd like to know the process that you've mentioned that all the players are in really good shape, but all the contact is not going to start until you guys go down to Orlando. I'd like to know the process of how you would ramp up the training, especially the physical contacts, 3-on-3, 5-on-5s. How would you do that in a short period of time to prepare for, I think, only 8 games to catch up on the playoff spot? So obviously a start dash would mean very much for your team.
Yeah, it's a great question, Soda. It's if I had my way, we would have some physical contact. If the players had their way, there would be some physical contact now. But thankfully, the league and the Players Association agreed to this because they know the players and they know the coaches that they're going to want to always push the envelope. But we have to abide by the rules. We cannot have any physical contacts as of now until they tell us differently. We're going to be this way until we go down to Orlando. And we fly down on the 7th of July with a couple of days of quarantine. So our first practice is probably going to be the 9th of July, and we're going to slowly go into it. We're going to meet with our performance team, our sports scientists, and it's going to be a group collective collaboration of what's the best process of going forward to our team to give us the best chance of to be injury-free. We cannot predict anything, and unfortunately that's part of the game, but we're going to do whatever we can possibly do to keep our players healthy going forward. So we're going to gradually go into it. We're going to have 3 weeks, roughly 20 games or 20 days with 2 or 3 exhibition games before we start that first game the end of July. So we're going to slowly work in the process, and the players are going to be able to, and we're going to be able to see how much we can do and how fast we can do it. But my feeling is that every team, and our team in particular, we're going to be really slow in that process.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we'll finish up with Ben.
Hi, Coach Brooks. Thanks for taking the time. Tommy spoke about John's progress before the shutdown and mentioned that the fact that he lost some gains given that he wasn't able to participate in actual scrimmages for months. I was hoping you could speak to his growth and whether the downtime did serve as a setback to the progress he made.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't call it a setback. It was just the momentum. It stopped. I mean, it's tough to ramp up, and with his injury, we would never put him in that position going forward with Orlando. And we know, we only can bring so many guys, and he has a plan in place. We have a lot of assistant coaches that are not going to be and staff members are not going to be able to go down to Orlando, but they're going to be able to be with John for a lot of the time. And I'm excited about John's future. 20 years ago, this injury, it was tough to get back from. A lot of guys did not come back as they once were. But now the advancement in medicine and all the great training and the rehab is so much different now. I saw it firsthand this past year. He will be as good as ever, if not better. He is, as you get older, you get smarter as a basketball player. He has a huge IQ as it is, but I'm excited. He's in great shape. Saw him during the March, spoke to him quite a bit. He's in great shape. He's excited about the summer. And then, now he's almost in a normal summer program where he will ramp up for next season. Now, we don't know next season yet, but he's going to be able to be in D.C., in his home in South Florida, with our coaches. So we're going to see a lot of work through him. And obviously with Zoom and video, I'm going to be able to stay in touch with him and texting. So I'm going to be able to definitely stay in contact with him. I'm excited about John coming back next season as good as ever. And, him and Brad in the backcourt, the last time they were healthy together was a long time ago. And I'm looking forward to having that once again.
Great. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, everybody, for joining.